This is Joshua Hart from JTH Boxing, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Dylan Cheema. Dylan, thank you for joining me today. How are we doing?
Hey man, yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's thanks for having me on. I've heard some good things about you. A lot of social media hype around you at the minute, so it's a pleasure to be on, man.
Honestly, listen, the pleasure's all mine. I'm very happy to have you on today. And without further ado, let's get straight into this. So the
Yeah,
first thing I want to talk to you about is fighting on Boxer the tournament last year, and not just fighting on there, but winning the entire thing. What was that entire experience like for yourself?
it was good. It's different. It's once in a lifetime. I'm probably never gonna have to do that again. So I'm very obviously thankful for the opportunity that to get put forward onto that, and then obviously going in and winning it, being such a far outright underdog to have no chance of winning the first fight, let alone winning three. You know, that was quite good, to be fair. I think getting through it and winning the tournament has put me in good stead now for my career, and obviously put me on a big platform now as well.
What was the period between fights like? Obviously, it was three fights in one night, and obviously you have like your break in between rounds, but that's only a minute.
Yeah,
This is where you don't know how long you're going to have between fights. What was that all like for
yeah.
yourself?
So to be fair, my coach Richard Waller, he's really good, really meticulous, really fine tunes everything. So he actually, like, when I found out I was in the tournament about 6 weeks before, um, he went and watched the last tournament that they had, and I think Corey Gibbs won that night, and he watched every single fight all the way through and times in between. So fighter one, whoever won, had 40 minutes to his second fight, which is in the semi final. But fighter number four, who won the last quarter final, only had 20 minutes to his semi final. And then so we really timed everything all the way through. So I think and in training as well, we did those different scenarios. So I tried being the first fighter on the night and having the longest break. I tried being the last fighter of the quarter final and having the shortest break all the way through. Um, and in between as well. So we really did drill it. So I felt comfortable throughout the whole night. To be fair,
Not as well on the night, you had a lot of good fans with you, as well as a brilliant ring walk as well. What were the
yeah.
fans like for like on the night for you? Did they push you on and give you almost that second gear when it was getting tough?
To be honest, I would like to say yes, but I'm so zoned in on the fight itself that the crowd doesn't make I don't really hear the crowds. I'm just so focused on what I need to. All I can hear was my coaches shouting instructions at me and just what's going on in and around the vicinity of the ring. Everything else is sort of like a blur to me. It was only when I watched it back, probably the day after on the Sunday, I sat down with family and watched it, I realised how loud it was, how much the atmosphere was really there. Because I'm so focused on the night, I don't really take all that in.
Can you talk to us about the ring walk as well? Because obviously it was a very, very special and exciting ring walk. Can you just talk to us about that, please?
Yeah. So that's like I'm a Sikh Punjabi boxer. So that's that's my heritage, our heritage. Walking out with the drums. Everyone knows the Indian wedding and Punjabi wedding. They're called Dol. So the Dol players, they're you'll see them all around it, and they're quite well known. So it was only fitting that I walk out representing my culture, to be honest. And it's new to the TV, new to Sky, new to many people that haven't seen me before. But you go back to my debut, which was on a small show. I had my drummers then. I had them on my second fight. I had them on the tournament. Every fight since. But we've been doing that since I was back kickboxing back in the day. So we've been that's how we walk out to the ring for a number of years.
And moving on, I want to talk about obviously last time out back in November. While
Yeah,
it wasn't your night, uh, how have you dealt with the defeat? Obviously, you lost your undefeated 7-0.
yeah.
What was that all like for yourself?
Yeah, it was difficult. I was down for a good few weeks. As you probably understand, I hate losing. Full stop. Um, so it was difficult, but putting things in perspective, when you sit down, you realise it was a close fight. I did still think I'd done enough to win it, but it was a close fight, so I can't say it was a robbery. But as time's gone on and I've watched it, I've realised I made some key mistakes in that fight, which should it be over a longer distance, I probably wouldn't be making those mistakes. So while it was difficult, I dusted myself off. I had an injury, so I had to go into surgery in December on my elbow. So once that was all sorted, we've come into the new year, we've started to work on those changes and make some tweaks that we needed to make, and hopefully never never face that again, and never have that feeling of defeat ever again.
Obviously, like I'm guessing you sat down and watched the fight. What did you learn in defeat?
Yeah, so I think probably one of the biggest things, probably a bit of composure, being a bit more relaxed when things probably aren't going my way or I'm getting caught with some shots. Probably the little bit of composure rather than being too eager. I think over the 4 round distance, I'm just trying to overwork and trying to just push myself to get the work in. So I'm working more of a sprint when I like to be a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more, just create the fight at my pace, rather than pushing a pace that's probably not what out of my comfort zone. But that's probably one of the biggest things I learned from that night, and yeah, we've worked on that a lot over the last few months. Really have worked on it a lot, and we're starting to change them habits now as well.
And when you return to the ring, will you be returning with Boxer still, or is it back
Yeah,
to?
yeah, yeah. 100%. I've been asked this a few times. Sky, Ben, Boxer, they're all good. You know what I mean? So we had a contract in place, and then they're not going to drop me after a loser fight. Um, losses happen. Unfortunately, this is boxing. You see it. Some might not lose, and then they get to a big fight, and then they lose. Some stay undefeated. Not many are undefeated all the way through their career. Johnny Nelson, for example, lost his first fight as a professional, and then look at the run he went on after. So it happens early on in careers. It's only a minor setback, and the comeback will be a lot better. But yeah, I'll be back on Sky later on this year with Boxer.
And talking of the comeback, do you have a date set, or is it still just ring talks to get a date lined up for yourself?
So we're just in talks now, yeah, to get a date lined up. I know there is a show in May, 6th of May at the Resorts Hall in Birmingham. That was probably the show that I was looking at, but I don't think there's a few things going on in the background that I'll be putting out over the next few days. So yeah, so
And in an ideal world, once you obviously get back in there, how active would you like to be for the rest of the year?
very active. So once I'm now that my injuries and stuff are all recovered and training's going well and picking up, I just want to stay busy this year. To be honest, I had a very busy last year. So I boxed in April, boxed in June, boxed in July, then boxed in November. So it was a very busy year. So I do want somewhat similar year this year, albeit now it's probably not looking like I'm going to be boxing for the first half of the year, unfortunately. But I just want to be boxing every couple of months and just keep myself busy. This is at the end of the day, boxing is my life. I put my heart and soul into it. This is my job as well. I say to everyone, what you do, what's your job? I'm a professional boxer. I get paid to do this now, so it is my job. So you want to be working all the time, don't you?
And finally, in an ideal world, when would you like to see yourself push for titles, whether it's an English title, any title, when would you like to push for one?
Yeah, I think yeah, I want to get. I still need to get the 6 round under my belt, so we'll get a good few 6 rounders in this year, and then perhaps I want to push on to an 8 rounder before I push on to tens. So once I get the 8 rounder in, which will be next year, so by the mid to end of next year, I want to be. Hopefully, I'll be ready to pushing on for titles.
Dylan, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on. And just before we end, I want to give a shout out to Dan Francis again from Vote Boxing for organising this all for me and giving me the pleasure of sitting down with yourself today. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.